Hey everyone, it's your good friend Bonkarooni. I am so excited because tonight I am recording the first video for my new YouTube channel. Oh man, and I have such a cool game to bring to you guys. This is a game that was played in Friday's Playham Daily, and we have two players. You know, this game wasn't seen live, so no one really knows what happened. We have two great players here. vVvXog as the red Zerg spawning in the top right. He is a well-known player. He's been around for a really long time, hasn't quite been able to break out to the pro scene yet, but has always done great games, high-level games against high-level players. Meanwhile, we have iSMentalist, the blue Protoss, and this guy's really an up-and-comer on the North American server. Great player. I've seen a couple of his games. Actually making a bit of a mistake here, putting his pylon there, and so he cancels it, instead putting it near the ramp. Mentalist kind of going on autopilot. Maybe he played a Terran last round and didn't realize it, so he corrects that mistake. Anyways, Mentalist, great player, apparently top 100 on the Korean ladder. Can't confirm that, but that's what I've heard. He plays for the team Infinity 7, which is a North American team, but this guy, I mean, exceptional skill in the few games I've seen. What I love most about him are his crisp build orders and his overall intelligence. So, okay, going back to Zog's base here, we're going to see the pool timing. That's the first thing I want to note. He's at 13 supply right now, and this is a bit of an early pool, not on 14. Kind of an interesting choice. Mentalist does come in, pokes around in the base, goes, oh, well, that's interesting. No gas and an earlier pool. Okay, so Mentalist gets his information, decides to head on home. Meanwhile, we see this drone coming down for a possible early hatch, although he doesn't quite have the money, so that's a little interesting. Mentalist not stopping by to try to block this hatchery, so if the drone had money, he could drop the hatch. Unfortunately, he's going to be waiting a little while. Back in the Protoss's base, we see him, just chrono boosting probes, nothing out of the ordinary. This is a bit of a mistake, though. Pylon on 16 instead of your first gas. I mean, maybe he has a really specific build order planned out, but you usually want to get that gas at 15 instead of 17. A little late. Again, not a huge deal. We do see Gateway finally coming down, and a second gas taken before Cybercore. So this is kind of going to make up for this, but it's not really the most efficient way to do it. He's going to get the same amount of gas in the same amount of time, but I don't really know how I feel about that. So we have, the first assimilator finishing. Goes ahead and jumps on that. Meanwhile, probe watching on the watchtower. Nothing much to see there. 4 Zerglings coming out on the map. A little late on this Queen, too. This was kind of a weird build order by Zog. Queen finally comes out. So these 4 Zerglings are going to run by with some sort of crazy star sense. Mentalist gets his probe out of there and just hides it in the bushes. Very cute. The Zealot does come out. Perfect timing by Mentalist. It's going to get out probably right before these get up the ramp. Yeah, here we go. Gets out. Going to put that on hold position, I hope. Yep, hold position. Very good. And the Zerglings poke up. They're going to try to deal some damage to this gateway. This is more just to get the Zealot to move out of position and hopefully sneak in the main. Mentalist does poke out a little bit. Oh, pulls back instantly. Great control by Mentalist. Oh, the Zerglings really want to get in, but Mentalist is not letting that happen. He does it again, and Zog finally says, alright, I'm not going to deal with that kind of micro right now. You're obviously watching your ramp way, way, way too close. So going back to the Protoss's base here, it's going to be interesting to see what he does next. And, as I say that, Twilight Council comes down. This is an extremely fast Twilight Council. Okay, so a couple things I want to note here. A, this is on the new patch, and that means blink timing is so much slower. B, he's chrono boosting exclusively probes at this point. This really indicates a Dark Templar build out of the Protoss. Meanwhile, we have Zog poking down here. This is great. Great play. Anyone who's a lower level Zerg really needs to take this to heart. You scout all over the map versus a Protoss. You never know where that proxy pylon is hidden, and you don't want to have surprise pylon foregating you in the face. We do have creep spread between the main and the natural. Great play. More drones coming out. An evolution chamber. So he's going to be fine against any sort of DT build. And the second gateway and the Dark Shrine coming down. This Overlord desperately wants to poke in, and Mentalist is going to come down. He should be, I would hope. Yeah, there he goes. Okay. Sentry is coming down, and a gateway. Zog is going to see this gateway. Not going to tip him off at too much. This Overlord, it might make it to see this Dark Shrine. That would be huge, huge information for Zog. May even force a cancel on the Dark Shrine, although it's so close to being done. I couldn't imagine that. Zog pokes up, goes, oh, okay, 2 gates warping. I know one's at the main and a Dark Shrine. You're doing a DT build. And the single Zealot pushed by it. It cleared out the watchtower, has 4 kills. What a champion. It is the same Zealot that was at the door, so that makes sense. It actually walks straight into the main. What an interesting choice. I don't know if this was a misclick, but I kind of think it was just actually high-level play. Pokes up. That was a little bad, hitting that queen, but it does get the scouting information. What it sees here is this. Spore Crawler, right? I know now that Zog is prepared for DTs. I can't warp DTs and sneak him into the main. That's a good information. So he gets his Nexus faster, waits a little bit on the DTs. When he finally gets them out, he's may morph them into an Archon. Let's see it. Okay, maybe he's not. Nope, there he goes. Okay, first Archon coming out, and these 3 units are in the middle. So, right now we got Mentalist expanding, and he's got to be thinking, okay, this is kind of a late expansion. Zerg could really drone up. I have to do something to prevent that. And what he's going to do is some sort of 3-gate pressure here. Ooh, the Zerglings actually catch these units standing there, and oh, instant Zergling production. Look at that. Totally stops the drone production. Bringing down the Spine Crawler. Does he have a Spine Crawler? Yep, he did have a Spine Crawler in the main. Bringing all his Spine Crawlers down, so he's going to have 3 of them to defend this. Mentalist, though, is not waiting. He's going to poke up. Ooh, this Archon actually gets surrounded. Great force field on the ramp, but it's not really going to matter. The Archon gets down to 1 shield and 10 health. Can it escape? No. The Zerglings sneak up and poke that Archon, then run away. Interesting force fields. Kind of isolate those Zerglings for a split second, and he kills them. And Mentalist, feeling like he did an okay amount of damage. Didn't want to lose that Archon, but not a huge deal. The big thing he did here was, look at this, and Zog actually way overreacting. No drones coming out for a Zerg. Only units. That's exactly what Mentalist wanted, and he goes home, mission accomplished, gets his expansion up. This is a mistake by Zog. He saw the expansion with this Overlord. He should have known better. He shouldn't have produced so many units, because look, they can't really do anything. He could try the counterattack, but with DT's out, I mean, you can't do much damage. He is clearing the rocks for his 3rd. That is the correct choice. Taking more gas and droning up. Now, what we see here next is Blink. And this is a great follow-up. You kind of have 2 choices as a Protoss here. 2 valid choices, let's say. Archon Zealot or Blink Stalker with the units you have available. Archon Zealot is really good, but against such a roach-heavy composition, and he did see the roaches. He knows Zealots aren't that great against roaches. Archons are okay, but Blink Stalkers are much more efficient at killing roaches, so he's going to go the Blink Stalker route. And we see him getting up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gateways right now. So not quite an all-in yet. I'd call it an all-in if I saw a 6th gateway go down. Right now, though, he could still expand off of this, although he's not clearing the rocks like I would expect him to. Zog making a great choice here. He's not going to take the gold right now, but clearing the rocks to the gold, super intelligent. You always want to do this. You never know when you're going to get another chance. You may be microing or fighting later with these units, so clear the rocks now so you can expand easier later. Okay, warping in more units. Blink is almost done, and oh, he does drop the 6th gateway, so here we go, guys. This is going to be a really heavy push from our player Mentalist. Going out into the middle of the field, bringing this probe with him. Again, that was kind of interesting. Don't know what those units were hanging out down there doing, but ooh, the Zergling does see this incoming. A couple more Zerglings come up. Wow, one money shot by that Archon who damages a ton of Zerglings. The Stalkers blink in to pick them off. And here we go. Mentalist is pushing really hard towards the Zerg's natural. Zerg is in full production mode, getting Burrow, getting Glial reconstitution. That was a bit of a suicide blink there, losing a Stalker. He didn't have to. Mentalist realizes, though, okay, 3 spines in the front and a ton of units. I can't break you there. I have to go somewhere else. Mentalist is committed at this point. And oh, there we go. A blink up kills that Overlord. Oh, supply block. Look at this. Zog at 93 out of 86 supply with 2 Overlords being produced. They're just starting, though. Zog needs to move these spine crawlers. He's doing it right now, but will they get there in time? He's already set the burrow position. These rocks are dying, and this army is just barreling down. 1 Archon in support does actually so much splash damage. More Stalkers being warped in, and here we go, guys. Spine Crawler's taking their sweet time to get up here because there's no creep spread, and they finally get the burrow, but it's a bit too late. Another suicide blink. He's going to lose a couple Stalkers for that, but interesting force fields. They kind of cut off 3 or 4 roaches. Meanwhile, we're having some good blink micro by Mentalist. Dropping, he hasn't actually dropped any more force fields. Another really aggressive blink. I actually like this one, though. Good force field, going to block these units from retreat. Well, maybe not. Those units actually slip by that tiny hole there, but Mentalist doing a ton of damage, just barreling down on the Zerg opponent. We did see Burrow, remember, coming up. So these roaches do have that ability, but he's not using it. He's just actually hemorrhaging roaches right now, losing more and more. We have reinforcements coming up. Another roach gets sniped needlessly, and there we go, finally burrowing. Mentalist being really brave here. He pushes up on top of the burrowed roaches and actually loses a couple stalkers for his trouble, but he's still being really aggressive. We see no robotics facility, so he has no chance of getting an observer. He has to do damage quick before the burrowed roaches overwhelm him. With tunneling claws coming out as well, so they'll be able to move, and those spikes make them infinitely more powerful. We see an unbarrel behind these stalkers. Great play by Zog, but he doesn't have quite enough to deal with this, and his roaches are being picked off. This DT doing a ton of damage. He's not barrel microing at all. If all these roaches were up at once, he may be able to take it, but oh no, pulling drones. That is such a bad sign for the Zerg. Oh, look at the supply. He's dying. Oh no, he actually calls the GG, and Mentalist takes this game. Wow, guys. I mean, not the craziest game in the world, but good, solid play by Mentalist. I want to go back real quick and just point out one or two things. I kind of talked about them during the cast, but I want to emphasize the point. So the game wasn't really won by Blink Stalker Micro. It was more won by a couple of the decisions. The first one being here, and again, this 3-gate pressure forces a ton of units out, loses an Archon unnecessarily, but not a huge deal. And what we see here is Zog makes his first mistake. 10 Zerglings, not drones. If these roaches were drones, if these Zerglings were drones, he would have 11 more drones right now. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you get the drones now, he could have possibly dropped a macro hatch, could have done a lot of things differently, and had much better production when that push finally came. So a bit of a mistake. He got some units he really couldn't do much with. Speeding ahead, I think it was about here. The next mistake we see is right? Okay. Push is going to come out before too long. I'll just let it speed through. The push is going to come out. Yep, here it goes. And I want to point out, right when this is happening, I didn't get to catch this in the cast, but Zog is actually going at triple evolution chamber. This is a bit of a big investment, and this is a really more of a late game thing. We see Zog is kind of high in minerals, so it's not too big of a deal, but you see Zog is kind of trying to get to the late game, not really playing for the mid game, and this kind of costs him. And then come in here, the biggest mistake of the game, and it's kind of sad that such a simple thing can throw a game in such a big tournament, but oh no, look at this. Overlord dead. Next Overlord just started. This is 25 seconds where you are completely supply blocked. I mean, if you look, he doesn't have any larvae now, but he's going to get them before too long. Vomits are almost ending, and he can't do anything with the larvae that come up. He can't produce any units. Because of that, we see he's sitting on the same supply, trying to get in a good defensive position, but watch this. Right when these Overlords pop at 102, he goes instantly to 101 supply. 4 more roaches could have made the difference in this battle, but instead of being here, they are now only beginning to hatch. And Mentalist, even with some kind of bad micro at the beginning, he pulls it out in the end, gets some good blinks, so spine crawlers don't get burrowed quickly enough, and wow. Yeah, Mentalist just takes this game. So, again, this was my first cast. I hope the stuff at the end isn't too long-winded. I kind of like to go back and look at exactly what happened, because it's really exciting to see the things that these pro players do. It's little things like those, you know, making a few too many units, a few drones, and, you know, getting supply blocked at the wrong time can really cost you a game. Alright guys, this was my inaugural YouTube video. Super excited again. This was Bonkarooni. Please check back to my YouTube channel because I have a lot of good plans. Not just casting replays. I have some other cool ideas. I'm not going to get to them right now because it is really late. I just casted another Playham tournament. Again, this was Playham's Friday daily tournament. Check them out, playham.com. Check me out. YouTube. Well, you know if you're watching this, you know exactly where to see more of my videos. Bonkarooni signing out, guys. Thanks a lot.